back and forth to Rick, and he said he didn't lose power, that they were okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Rick texted that he'd be here.
How did things turn out in Metairie? How's Metairie doing?
Well, that's where Barry lives, Barry Foulon, and there's just not any power. You know, the houses are fine, but you know, when you lose power, at least it's not real hot right now. It's cooler,
Yeah.
so it's not stifling. But it's
Yeah, I got
not,
a cousin. My niece is there, right next to the water, right near the bridge.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Metairie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dave.
My wife's relatives are from Louisiana. They're from down near Grand Isle, by Lafourche.
Oh, Grand Isle and all that took a big hit.
They did.
Oh yeah.
I got my brother-in-laws there, so I guess I'm gonna have to send them money for something for sure.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, it's the least I can do. These guys are good to me.
Yeah,
But
no,
these
Grand
guys-
Isle, they have what they call a burrito levee. It's basically a material that's filled with sand, and it looks like a giant burrito, and they lay it out trying to keep the Gulf of Mexico off of Grand Isle. And it water went over the top of it. I mean, it just didn't even do anything.
It's because they didn't use the Tabasco sauce.
That's right. They could have got the burrito grande, and they just got the regular burrito, you know. So
Should have let it get stale for a day. That would held the water back.
but there were no fatalities, but it was just a lot of people's houses got destroyed, and a lot of people that left the Grand Isle area and all that, they were mandatory get out of South Louisiana, and they lined up all their mobile homes and trailers and stuff on the shoulder of the highway 36, or I can't remember if that was the one, and they thought they'd be safe there, but nobody knew it was going to be a Cat 2 when it comes in. So it just kind of mowed them down off the side of the highway. It flipped them over and everything. So
Were they in them then?
no, a lot of them, they just parked them there to keep them from getting underwater, but they didn't realize it was going to be that much of a wind event.
Yeah.
Because the wind got up over 100 miles an hour in a lot of places, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Who would have thought, man, 2020, are you ready for getting over this mess?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Well, John, it's good to see you again. So you have to tell us how this 12th life yours works out here. You know,
My what?
Didn't you say you have 12 lives? You said you
Well,
were 12?
I'm down to, I got 11 left.
Okay. Yeah.
The last time I went to the doctor and he said, well, John, you want the good news or the bad news? I said, give me the bad news first. He said, you had 2 heart attacks. And I said, how bad were they? He says, well, the scar tissue. I said, give me the good news. He says, you're alive.
You should get with Jeff.
Yeah, where's Jeff? Jeff's been getting on early lately.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody, it's just us guys. But I'm so glad to see you, Billy, because I was afraid that you guys were still without power.
Yeah, well, we got I hooked the generator up. We were only dark. Let's see, the power went out after the storm passed us. Like it passed, the heavy part passed about 7 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, our power goes out. And it was too late at night to me to go out in the yard and mess around with the generator. So we just lit of course, being a videographer, I have all kinds of LED lights. So we lit up every room with all that. And the next morning when it got bright enough, I went outside and hooked up the generator. And we had that until last night about 8 o'clock. The real power came on. So I disconnected the generator. So.
Yeah, about 2 years ago in Washington, we had a big snowstorm and all the power was out in a whole lot of areas of the city. And I had all my LED lights, so all the people in the neighborhood came over for a party, you know, like bring your food, we'll cook it all because we have gas stove and stuff. And then the news crew came by and said, we came by for a disaster story. I said, well, come on in.
Yeah.
We saw your lights.
Yeah, that's me. I had every room lit up with my LEDs, you know, that I charge them up all the time anyway for jobs. And so they were all, and they run forever, you know.
Yeah, now they're great.
Mm-hmm.
So David, what's happening in the mountains?
All's well. the colors are pretty much gone, especially with the wind. It got, I guess, 30, 35-mile-an-hour winds, but not for long and not much rain. So all was good because they were acting like it was going to be, a tropical storm still up here, but yeah, all was well. No flooding that I heard about.
That's good.
Yeah, it wasn't that much of a wet event. It was a lot of wind. And it depended upon what side of the eye you were on. If you were on the east side of it, you were okay. If you're on the west side of it, it had a little more kick to it. I'm sorry, other way around. The east side caught more. The east side of the eye caught more wind. That was like Grand Isle and all the way through South Louisiana, St. Bernard, Waveland, Mississippi, Bay St. Louis. They caught it pretty bad too. So they said by I think 7 in the morning it was already to Atlanta. So it really rocked through our area.
Hey, Bill, are you on? Bill Meacham?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my video.
Okay. Well, maybe it's because you got a face for radio.
No, it's been working up until now, but I got the microphone fine. Still got that little line through the video, and I can't get it to go away.
Harry and Dottie can't get on.
Yeah, I can't even see
Battery.
a camera on yours. It's just the microphone. So.
Well, I got a note on the screen that says Zoom is unable to detect a camera.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know. And we got. I love it, Billy. We got 2 Tom Wolfes.
Well, I didn't ever change it when I logged
No,
on.
it's fine. It's fine. It helps me if you end up taking over.
Well, I just keep forgetting to get out of your profile because I couldn't upload pictures and stuff from mine. But when I took over for you, I was able to put on.
Did everybody see Joel's portrait when I sent it this week?
I saw that.
You think that would help if I shut down and came back on again?
You might try that because, like I said, I don't even see on my screen where I see the cameras and the microphones. I don't even see a camera.
I see the picture of me playing banjo.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can hear you fine, but yeah, if you want to try again.
He's writing key too, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
why I
look
took
like
the
I'm playing
picture.
banjo. It's all illusion.
You're
Well,
great.
while you were gone, John, Benu came on a couple times, and Christine came on once. I think I don't know if you were here then or not, but
Oh, I saw her when she came on at least once because couldn't believe what she looked like.
yeah.
She looked great.
And Benu's been sending in a lot of pictures,
Oh, wow.
so I was hoping she'd join, but she might be out of electricity too, because uptown, I don't know how they're doing.
She's still writing her book. I don't know how she's doing with that.
Now,
I don't know.
was Buzzy her husband?
Yeah.
Okay,
Has
now,
2
and
children.
he played for you and the Mustache too, right?
Buzzy started in Chicago, and then he came to New York when he graduated from his undergraduate. He came to do his master's work in New York, and he worked for us in the New York club. And they knew he worked with us on the road for a while. Benu came from Florida with 2 other girls, and they were there. And Benu was the best. She was the best as far as she wasn't trying to upstage everybody. Everyone else was trying to be an upstage. But when she got on, she wasn't trying to upstage anyone. And Buzzy and her worked together a lot on different kinds of bits and everything. And everything was fine until one day I set up a 2 or 3 week tour. And so they started out in Chicago. Chicago was the first stop. And Buzzy bought a Frankfurter from a street vendor, wound up in the hospital. So now he's in the hospital, and I've got 3 weeks of work to do. So I have to send out another banjo player. So he gets pissed at me because I didn't pay him. I said, Buzzy, you didn't work. I can't help it. I'm sorry. You know, and he just got pissed at me. He wouldn't work for me anymore. Then he'd work only in the club. Then he went down to New Orleans because he got the job teaching at Tulane.
Tulane,
Yeah.
And the last time I saw Buzzy and Banu, well, their kids were about 10 years old. And their kids are much older than that now. Their kids are at least 30 or 40 now. So, but
And so who did Christine marry?
Christine was married to a guy named Bendinger. He fell in love with the one he was in Chicago when he was in college with her. And he would do these stupid things that got her. He would fill her mailbox with bubble gum and do all this stuff. And she fell in love. So she got married with him. They got married, and it turns out that it was kind of like an abusive type of marriage. And then she came to New York from Chicago, from the Chicago band. She came to New York, and that's when she met Bob Adams, and her and Bob were together. I left in '75, and they were still together. But
Now, is Bob Adams the one who everybody thought Christine's name was Goddamn It, Christine?
That's it. That's it. I mean, he's the one. She on the stage in Calgary. She went up to him and she put down her horn. She went up to him and he looked at her and she socked him right square in the jaw and knocked him off the stage. And then the next thing I know, she gives me a call. It's like 11 o'clock New York time. She calls me and she says, John, I'm coming home. And so I'm saying, what do you mean you're coming home? Something happened to the job? Did anything go wrong? She says, no. She says, I just knocked out Bob. I said, you're kidding me. She said, no. I said, all right, you better come home before he gets home. Go ahead, come back home.
Did she say what he did that make her want to punch him?
I know I'm privy to a lot of things that went on that I doesn't matter, but he deserved everything he got.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if she was my daughter, I would have killed him.
Oh, Lord, okay.
I would have killed him if she was my daughter. But that's the way, you know, and she would always stand up for him. So it wasn't my job to stand up for her. You know, I tell her, you know, I'll give you a job. You don't have to work with him. I'll work with someone else. She said, no, I want to work with him. So I said, fine. So it was just one of those things that every time he'd tell us something, she would try to make a suggestion, but he couldn't take suggestions. And I guess that's the easiest way to explain it. And boy, he did some beautiful things, I'll tell you.
So is this Christine?
That's Christine with the horn, yep. There's Bob, Christine, Banu. I can't tell who that's on the tuba. And that's Hoyt, I think, on the drum, on the all the way on the left. Hoyt Corey? Is that him? That's who he looks like. Yeah, Hoyt Corey, yeah. Hoyt Corey, his name Hoyt, I always wondered, where do you get a name like Hoyt? He says, it's a family name. I said, a family name? He said, yeah. He says, my father was saved during the war by a guy named Hoyt. And he says, I got stuck with the name.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the people had a really good time. They learned a lot. I mean, Billy and I and David, we had a good time just being waiters and working in the bar. but it sounds like the bands had a really good time traveling and working.
The band had a good time depending on the gig. You know, if the gig was a fun gig, they had fun. If not, but the problem was as we got more and more sophisticated, the jobs got more and more sophisticated. So it wasn't one of these things where you just went on stage and played these numbers and got off. You had to be on you have to be on cue. You had to know when your cue was. And when that happened, people got pissed. And that was part of the problem.
Here comes Herb. Herb, you got to turn your camera on.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the middle of a phone call right now with my son.
Okay, never mind.
So where did that picture of Joel come from where he's standing with the globe?
He sent that out one Christmas. It was a card. He sent it out to everybody. And I mean, people that were our customers. He sent it to Schlitz Brewery. He sent it to everybody. When I saw that, I said, you just can't top that. No.
I'm playing with my new phone here.
Yeah. What was the cap? Did he have a caption or anything with it, or just?
I'm going to put it right.
I don't
right
remember.
now.
Okay. Yeah.
Here it comes. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, Iris sent that. Iris said he got it, I think, 1975 or something. Barry is out of electricity and his phone, he can't get internet, so he's not coming on.
Right. I talked to him yesterday morning or afternoon. He said he did okay. They had some branches down, no electricity, but they're doing fine.
Yeah, I talked to him about an hour ago, and the biggest problem was just, all the fast food places were all piled up with people, and you couldn't get any food because you couldn't cook anything because I guess it's all electric.
Yeah.
But they're doing good. They went to a grocery store and got a hamburger.
What on?
Is Barry on?
No.
Oh.
Luckily, we have propane up here, and wood, so we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Back in 08, 09, there was a bad ice storm came through. And we had no power for 9.5 days.
Yeah.
But we survived. We had water, we had food, we had heat, and candles and lanterns.
Yeah, we had we had 5 days without power in Maryland, and we had gas stoves, and we had gas logs in the fireplace, so it worked out fine.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you do.
But
Well, here in California, all we wait for is for a tree to catch on fire, and we're warm.
Well, John, my wife and I were just out there because our sons live in San Francisco and Oakland, and we spent 2 months out there, and it was like the apocalypse. On the first Wednesday we were there, 10 o'clock in the morning, it was like all the lights are on because it's like dark and it's orange. And then you had the bad air for a week and a half. And then you had the heat, and it was crazy.
Well, I'm down here almost to San Diego. I'm just north of San Diego, and the smoke got all the way down here.
Wow.
And then a week ago in Orange caught on fire, and they had a tremendous fire in there. 100,000 people were made to evacuate.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Hey, well, that's nothing. We had 25-mile-an-hour winds here in South Carolina. Yeah. Whoa! I mean, it was awful. Well, we were having trouble barbecuing.
With or without water, was there any rain?
No rain.
No rain. Oh, that added to it.
Yeah, that would just have ruined everything. Hey, my daughter took me to you talk about San Diego here. She took me to a dog surfing show at Diamond Beach.
Oh, yeah.
This is the southernmost of one more town and you're in Mexico, I guess.
Yep. That's why there's dogs on board instead of men.
Oh.
No, that's a big thing. a lot during the summertime. You see a lot of dogs surfing nowadays.
Mhm.
What I tell you, what really blows me away is when I was 60. The reason I started surfing, the reason I wanted to, when I turned 60, I wanted to compete, and just wanted. That was my big thing. Instead of jumping out of a plane, I was going to compete. So when I was 57, I started learning, and so here I am. I get to 60, and fortunately, we're set together by age groups. So they start out with the first age group, 5 and under. These kids go out there and they're doing stuff that I could never even think of doing. And the fathers are on the sand yelling at, turn left, now a high one, now turn. And I'm going, leave the damn kid alone. He's doing great, for God's sake. And then it was my turn and I couldn't even get on the board, for God's sake. I was able to ride one wave, fortunately. And all the other people in my age group just didn't make it.
John, 60, I mean, to be surfing. It's pretty
They
good.
are.
I surfed until I was 72. I
Wow.
was 72 the last time I surfed.
No sharks?
Huh?
No sharks?
Oh, there's sharks out there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Hold on.
Call from wireless caller.
This is, hello?
Hi from South Carolina. Hello.
Hey, there's Bob Bunsey, John.
Hi, my name's Megan. I'm calling on behalf of Brian Marriott.
I knew it was going to be someone calling for a damn politician.
The next person who calls me and asks for a vote, I'm voting for Millard Fillmore.
That's right.
The last time they called, one of the guys called and they asked, I'd like to speak to Jacqueline Murata. And I said, okay, what's the problem? What do you need? And so she goes into her spiel and she goes, I said, you've done anything else? No. Okay. I'll tell her when I see her, when I die. And she said, what? I said, yeah, my wife died 6 months ago. What am I going to do? She can't vote for you.
Sure she can.
You know, I'll tell you one thing John McClernand did once at the Red Garter. You know, we get these waitresses who are like between high school and college. You know, they're on their way to their first year of college. And so my parents came in to see me play. This is at Jersey Shore. And, you know, so the waitress, you know, they said, oh, go tell Herb that we're here. And the waitress came up and said, hey, Herb, your parents let me know that you're here. And John McClernand turned to the waitress and said, that's a terrible thing to say. Herb's parents were killed in a car accident 3 months ago.
Oh,
Jesus.
oh,
The waitress was...
oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow.
Well, it was that kind of a bandstand, you know?
Yeah. Well, John was fair. He was quick on his feet. Yeah. He had that kind of humor.
Yeah. Mhm.
Dark humor.
Yeah. Well, my son today sent me a Pixel 5 phone, the brand new phone. I had been using a Pixel 0, and the battery had gone to about 20 minutes without plugging in. So going from a Pixel 0 to a Pixel 5, I feel like I've walked the Yankee Stadium with this phone. I mean, just the choices of video. I mean, I have some really good video and camera equipment. Like, you know, I have a good Nikon camera. This thing keeps up with it.
Really?
So you got a 5G, you mean? You got the 5G?
No, just 5. Oh yeah, it's got the 5G if I ever run into 5G, but it's got, it's all ready for 5G.
Yeah.
But you're on the 4G network now, right?
Yeah, I got 4G
Yeah.
now. But it's all the stuff that the phone does outside of the phone that makes it just amazing, especially the camera. So the software is amazing.
I didn't even know we had 5G here until our power went out with the hurricane. Like the Wi-Fi was out and all, and I was looking at my cell phone and it said 5G. I said, I got 5G. I had no idea. You know, I guess my data rate just started going, but you know,
Interesting.
we'll find out.
Yeah, I have a
Dan-
lot of expensive video cameras, but I've been doing some stuff with an actress in London, and her son sets up her cell phone, her iPhone, and records it for me and sends it to me on the internet, and that's how we've been shooting it. Is that,
Wow.
you know, the cameras are really good.
I'm supposed to record something this weekend, and they send it into the station, and they're going to turn it into a spot that'll air next week. You know, and it's broadcast quality.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
But it
I
also,
can remember my first fold out, flip open phone.
Yeah.
It had a little camera, little lens about this big, you know, or a little screen about this big. I'm going, what the hell do I want a camera on my phone for? now my whole life is on the phone.
yep.
Or on Facebook.
The technology is good enough that if we wanted to play together, we could do it. You know, we could send the file. You know, what you do is you send a sound file, and you put your headphones on to listen to the sound file, and you play to a microphone. So you're playing along with the band, but the microphone's only picking up you, and then one person adds it up, compiles it all together, and you're a band. I mean, it's a very easy process.
It's a great program called.
As long as everyone has recording stuff at home.
Set it up for next Friday.
What's that?
Set it up for next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday we'll have a band.
Y'all take requests?
You can take those requests.
Mike, what was the software you mentioned?
The software is called Acapella.
Acapella. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A friend down in New Orleans, Billy, you may know, Tom Hook?
Yes.
No.
No.
No. But
Anyway, he works in New Orleans and lives there. Works for the World War II Museum. Does a lot of stuff for them.
okay.
They're putting some stuff out all the time. And Yoakum used to have a band called the Black Dogs. They're still out there working. Good band.
no,
Yoke's not
I
playing, right?
participated in a I guess a virtual choir. A friend of mine teaches music at Tulane, and was just looking for anybody that wanted to like memorize a part. And he put together about 100 people on and everybody sang their own part, like you were describing. You had your headphones on, so all you could hear is the background music, because they didn't want anything to bleed in. And he hasn't finished editing it yet, but I sang some of it. I told him to feel free to cut it out. My parts if you want to. They got like 99 other people in there, so But if I got a couple good notes in, but his name's Leonard Rabin, and he teaches at Tulane. But he does that too. Puts together those little videos where you see where like all these boxes of people singing and come into this big harmony and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I said that looked like fun.
They used to hire Billy and I to do stuff like that, but now they do it on their own.
Yeah.
Anyway, while we're talking technical, Joel needs somebody to, Kim knows about this, to put together a website for the reunion. I don't know when the reunion is. And he wrote me a couple times about it, but I'm not a good website guy.
No, me either.
Yeah, he asked me if I could help it, but I just told him, I said, I don't have the slightest idea how to do that damn thing.
Yeah, I don't either, especially what he's at.
He wants to, I talked with him last week about it, and he said that he wants to have some sort of site, and he's talking about a website. I don't know if the website's the right answer, or maybe a Facebook posting. I really don't know what the right medium is, but he wants to have some site, some place, let's say, for people to access where they can get the itinerary of the reunion, whatever it is, and buy tickets. And do you know of anybody that has the skill to put something like that together?
Christian, would that be something you could do on Facebook? Or?
Well, the problem when you get to Facebook is then if you're going to be selling tickets and whatnot, it falls in a different category of page. It has to be a business page. And I don't know how to do those.
If you want to do just the easiest way would just be a website, and just The only difference is that you would have to have a couple, you have to have the first page would be the home site, which would show you what it's about, which would tell you what it's about. And then a second page would be where you would buy your tickets. And then someone is still going to have to take care of the site to keep track of ticket sales and ticket money and receiving the money. And then if something goes south, that person's going to be responsible for returning the money. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that I'd be concerned about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be responsible for the money.
Can't we just send out newsletters?
I would think so, but
Yeah.
Well, for the Carnegie reunion, I kept track of everything, but all the money went to Ronnie Sater. So maybe we can have him involved in it.
I would imagine. I don't know why Joel hasn't talked to him.
But where's
Maybe he
Maybe
has.
he has.
Maybe he has. We just don't know.
Yeah.
where's this to happen?
Pardon?
Better than that, when?
Where and when?
Well, who knows when? I mean, he said last time he said, what the hell did he say?
September.
Maybe a window will open up in 2021. So I have no idea. Well, it's all COVID dependent. I mean, it's got the atmosphere, the war's got to be over and the atmosphere's got to be clear before we can do anything.
Well, I just wanted to ask everybody because he sent me an email and asked me to ask. So
Sure. What do we do for Carnegie? We just were on a mailing list, weren't we? Yes. The musicians were. I don't know how. I really don't know how the ticket sales were managed. I have no idea.
I think Joe took care of that, Joe Sakala. He pretty much was on
Joe
top.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I remember is Barry Foulon called me directly about 3 times. So I guess people just called everybody they knew that was involved to see about coming. And I don't even remember that far back now how we paid for it. I guess there was a website, or did we just?
I don't remember.
No, we mailed, checks were mailed in. Checks were mailed to Ronnie Sater.
Okay, that must have been it. Yeah, because I don't even remember 10 years ago.
Yeah, they were mailed to Ronnie, and then Ronnie let me know, and I kept track of it on a spreadsheet.
Oh,
But
okay.
Ronnie had the money.
Okay. All right.
Now the Sorella guy, whoever you said,
Sakala.
Sakawa, he's
Yeah.
dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he just died. Kathy Goodley's husband.
He was the one who's, I had to sneak a still camera in to get pictures. I was the only one that got pictures during the concert because he said you couldn't take pictures.
That's
Correct.
And I kept sticking it in my coat and coming out and getting a couple shots, putting it back. I was like Mr. Sneak. I was afraid someone would show up
Tom,
and
those
take it
pictures
away.
were great too. Those pictures.
Well,
were
I mean,
great.
it was the only thing we had of it, but it kind of pissed me off because, I've worked in all theaters all over the world, and nobody has ever, if the band wants to take pictures of themselves, nobody stops that. I could never understand what he was doing, saying
Maybe it was Carnegie's policy.
It was Carnegie's rules. That was Carnegie's rules.
Right.
They had the same rule about the about recording of it, but
But there was a recording of it, right, Kim?
the other was. So there is.
I'm not confessing to anything right now, but I got the whole thing on my camera, on my phone.
Good you didn't confess.
Like only everybody with the internet connection can find out.
I got the whole thing on my phone, and I don't know. I can put it up. I can put it on YouTube, or I can put it up. I don't know. Where would you want me to put it?
Well, Christian has a Facebook site. If you can send it to him, he's been putting up all of our YouTube.
Well, you can just log into Facebook and put the video up. It'll just
Well,
do it.
if you just want to see it, I sent it to everybody a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Was that John recording?
That's the one John shot. John says he shot a separate
No,
one.
not the one John shot. The one that was done. I don't know whether it was done professionally or not. It must have been professionally.
What do you have it on a CD?
No, I got it on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
No, but Kim, where's yours on a CD?
I have it. I have it on my hard drive.
It's a
I have it
YouTube
on my
website.
hard
It's
drive.
YouTube.
I have it right now. I have it on a hard drive right
Yeah.
now.
If you upload it to YouTube, you can send the links just wherever you want
That's
to
right.
Christian or to, you can even put it on the Mustache site, for people to see.
All right.
Is that
But,
mustache site still
I'll
active?
just send the link to you, Kristen. Chris,
Yeah,
I'll just send the link to you and then you can do with it.
okay.
You'll put it on YouTube, Chris?
Yeah, that's the best way.
Well, John's putting it on YouTube, I think, and then
I'm going to send the link to him.
He's going to send him the link, and then Chris is going to put it on YouTube, and maybe we'll see that link on the next invitation.
John's
Well,
brain doesn't work as much as it used to.
Well, if we do another reunion, between Billy and I, we could get nice video and really nice pictures if somebody's not forcing me to hide the camera. Because I had to use a little camera for that, and I'd have loved to have been there with a nice long lens getting beautiful shots.
Yeah.
Okay,
If we go through all this work, there's no reason not to.
yep. Jeff Allswang is here, so I'll say this on his behalf just so we get it out of the way. Lake compounds. Okay, carry on.
like,
Jeff's not
I
here. I
bet
thought
they
you
would,
were
give us they would give us the hall. They would give us the hall. And they would provide the group, the people.
mm.
And you would have a true picture of what the mustache was like.
But would they let us ride on the roller coaster for free?
I'll put up the money for you guys to be in the motel across the road from Lake Compounds.
Jeff loved that job.
Heck, yeah.
Just for
Where
us
is
who
Lake
don't know, what is Lake Compound?
It's an amusement park, right? A big outdoor amusement park?
It's an amusement
Oldest
park.
amusement park in Connecticut.
It's an amusement park. It's about 2 miles from ESPN up in Bristol, Connecticut.
It has the oldest wooden
Roller coaster. Yeah.
Oh, I got that picture somewhere.
Huh. So where did you play? Did you just play for like Disney, like live background music, or
No, they had
your
a
show?
huge base that in the 30s and 40s, the big bands used to go up there and play. It's a huge place. It was a very popular place during the 30s and 40s.
It's a great room. It's a great room. I played
Yeah.
there. It's a great room.
We would play about half the space that the room is. I think they cut it in half, but it was a lot of, at least 400 or 500 people would come at a night, and they would come and they would just love the mustache. It was just a fun gig. I don't, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. That's the roller coaster. And then on the other side was the building that we played in. I know,
Like a
and
nice roller coaster.
the building has 3 stories of steps. And I know that because
right.
I rolled down all 3 stories. I know that because I tripped on the top of the top step and everyone tried to catch me. And I think they did anyway, but I just went right down. Fortunately, the steps of the wood bounced a lot, so it didn't hurt as much.
Yeah, that's an important feature. It's a totally wooden structure.
Yeah.
It's been there since Moses came down from the mountain, I think.
But it's a great place to play, but I don't even know if it's still.
There it is.
As I say, it's a great room. I played the thing for what 400 people about, and it was very, very nice. Acoustically, it works very well too.
Well, like all the big bands used to play there.
Yeah.
So is Joel waiting for was it Harvard or Yale, something like that? He said when that opens up, they're going to try and schedule the reunion. That's the last I heard. And other than that, we're waiting for COVID to get out of here.
Right.
That's the first priority, because nobody's going to be traveling if there's COVID around without a
Well, no-
vaccine.
No one can travel, socially distanced. Yeah, you can't have a reunion and be socially distanced. Can't do that. And we're all of the age where we're in a risk group, so we really don't want to infect one another either. So
Yeah, we'll get the vaccine first.
Well,
let's hope.
the way I look at it, I'm not going to make it, so I'm going to infect as many people as I can.
That's called herd immunity.
Okay, now this was from the this was part of it, wasn't
Who
it?
is that, Jeff?
Smiling Sam. It was some
The
game.
Voodoo Man, Smiling Sam, the Voodoo Man.
The
It's one of
voodoo.
the set of pictures
Or
that I
is that
got about
voodoo?
Lit Compound.
That looks like one of those machines where you put in a quarter or something,
And he puts a curse on you.
and it takes a penny and it squashes it and everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's enough of that.
Was that anybody we know?
Smiling Sam.
All I would suggest is next time you're going to put up pictures, do a little viewing first. Let's get it organized. You're the expert.
It occurs to me that we've all been in a risk group for about 40 years or so. Yeah.
One risk or another, right?
You know what? Yeah, it's just the nature of the risk has changed. Is that a medical diagnosis or just a comment on a lifetime of depravity? I think you guys have lived your life. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, you went on outside jobs with Marana. How many of those were safe?
My sins are catching up to me.
I got to think that working on Bourbon Street 4 years is a form of inoculation.
From what, though?
Everything.
Yeah. Thing and anything. Yeah.
You can walk out the mustache and eat a lucky dog or one of those corn on the cobs or something, man.
I don't know. I never seen many Chinese people down there. We want to be used.
That was something that Christine or Benu sent.
Wow, that's me. My name.
That's Buzzy in the background, isn't it?
His
Yeah.
bookings were John Murata.
For bookings, John Murata. I don't remember that piece. We had a lot of things like that. We had a lot of near off color stuff. Some colleges actually would protest. They would say that they didn't want me to send garbage like that to them.
Oh.
And look at those colleges now. God.
It had to be better than Cheyenne Frontier Days, though, John.
Oh, Cheyenne Frontier Days was the worst. Even I thought it was the worst. The first year we were there, the only way you can get out, you had your car parked at the back next to the beer truck. And you had to go through in between these two big posts. So there I am, I'm there one night and I'm counting the money and I got the money all counted now. And now I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna drive to the bank and then to the motel. And all of a sudden I see a bunch of the carnies coming in and they're going into this tent. And they're having a great old time because they are stinking drunk. So I put the bank bag under my jacket and I walked out, get in the car, and I drive. And at that time, I wasn't a good driver. And I hit one end of the post on the side. The passenger drive gets hit. Then I bounce off and hit the driver's side and hit that. And these guys come out and they're looking at me. And I put my foot on the gas and I just flew out of there. So I get to the bank. I get out. I couldn't open the door. I had to get out the door, the passenger door. And I get out. I get the money into the bank. I go and I look around the car. I had smashed in both sides of the car. So now when I go back after the 2 weeks are over, and I go back to the car that we rented it from, I just said, I don't know. Someone in Frontier Days did this to us. We don't know who they were. We filed a police report, but we haven't heard back from them. And I never heard back from them. They never called me back. I just wrecked that car. Where's that at?
Well, this is Frontier to say, isn't it?
Where? We used to have suits like that for when we played in the softball league. But the shirt was white, and it said your father's mustache on the shirt, and the short pants were blue, and it was like our team shirt. That was the first year. That was the only year that we had the short pants because too many of us ripped our legs up sliding or just falling. So the next year we had long pants. And then what I used to do is, in the beginning, when those suits were new and everything was new, I was thinking of, I got to advertise, got to take advantage of advertising. So I made the musicians wear the suits in the airports, on the plane, to the motel. They hated me. Can you imagine Eddie? What was his name? He was a banjo player, short, little stocky guy, but he was
Franny Smith?
Eddie, who?
Franny Smith?
Not Franny, Eddie. His first name was Eddie. Short guy. He was a tremendous banjo player.
Eddie Davis?
Eddie Davis.
Yeah.
Eddie Davis. We're at the airports. Eddie Davis, and he had his friend was a trombone player, a big guy, and they're looking at me as we're waiting at the ticket counter because every big bunch of people are standing around us looking at how we look. Mm-hmm. And so I said to him, Eddie, I'm dressed just like you. He said, no, you're not. I've got the short pants and I'm the short guy. And he was just pissed. That didn't last too long because they started ripping the pants. So I figured I better not rip the uniforms. They cost too much. God. And then the girls' outfits were actually more expensive than the guys' outfits because we had the sequins on them and everything. But the girls took care of their outfits.
That's Franny Smith in the middle.
Yeah.
Barry and that's Pete.
That's Pete.
Is that Ron Gall? That's not Ron Gall, is it?
No.
Barry Foulon.
That's Franny.
Who is that?
Franny Smith and Barry Foulon and Pete Frianides.
Is that who you were talking
Right.
about, the shark guy?
So I'm saying, I don't remember Eddie Davis being short.
Well,
Yeah, he's short. He was short.
He was? I remember when you said short banjo player, I thought of Franny right away.
Well, that's normal.
well, but Eddie was also very stocky. So
Right.
Yeah, Les Muscat had it. Les Muscat always used to say, "Franny Smith will be up shortly."
Oh, sad.
Yeah, Les just had a wonderful way of making the pithy statement, not pithy.
pithy.
I remember one time I told him, I said, "Boy, there's no place like the French Quarter," and Les said, "Promise?"
Boy, it's quiet without Jeff here. Real quiet.
I do miss him.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, what happened? Did he stop?
No, he was here last week.
No, he was here last week.
Well, is the weather bad up there? No, weather's not bad.
I think it was two weeks ago he had a
Yeah, I know what it is.
3 weeks
He's going
ago.
out to see Trump. He's going out to see Trump. He's going to
Yeah, I kind of doubt it, but
Hey, Herb, I got
Yes,
a
sir.
question. When we played up in Troy, New York, at the Hendrick Hudson Hotel, our washboard player was named
Jerry Garcia
Oh, yeah. From Georgia.
from Georgia, Jerry Garcia. And he was furious at me because I refused to let the band take alcohol in the bandstand. I said, we're working, we're doing a job, no drinking on the bandstand. And he thought that was directed toward him. And it was.
Well, I'm surprised because usually he was taking drugs. I don't know why he would take that. He had, I don't know if you remember this, but he came up as a waiter. He was working as a waiter, and he had a girl with him and a baby who had a couple kids. And what happened was she was married to a insurance guy who was doing pretty good. She owned the house and everything, but she fell in love with Jerry Garcia. Now, if any of you don't remember Jerry Garcia, you're going to scratch your head and say, a woman? Anyway, they lived in abject poverty. So one time I had to go to pick them up in Albany, and it's him and his two kids who look like something out of Tobacco Road, and her, and they in the car, and he says to me, it's all over. I said, what do you mean it's all over? He says, she's leaving me. I said, really? I was shocked. I said, what happened? She says, her husband wants to take her back. And I said, geez, shame on him. And she left, man. Oh, man. But Jerry he was a nice guy. He had a good heart, but he was always doing drugs or something.
Yeah, he was Jerry. Yeah, I remember he came up to me after about the 2 weeks. He said, Herb, when you told us we couldn't take beer up on the bandstand, he said, that hurt me personally. And I just had to face it. We were doing a job.
He had plenty of other time to drink because we were
Yes.
staying at that hotel, and there was nothing to do there.
John, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but they sent a band with a first-time leader, that was me, and everyone else was like a side musician. On paper, it was a very weak band.
But that was Troy, New York.
They said we got a 2-week contract, and if you get extended, we'll give you all exorbitant raises. Well, as it turned out, what happened is that everyone in the band had like a strength, and so we passed that strength around. And also what happened is that there was nothing else happening in Troy. And their only place to go was the Hendrick Hudson Hotel. So by the end of the first weekend, it was wall-to-wall people lined out the door waiting to see anything. So we did get extended. We got extended. And I'm sure Joel with every penny that he had to hand out because we got good raises, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was some places we went, and well, I remember like RIT. RIT liked us so much, and they had us. And every time they had us in the beginning, the first couple years, we wouldn't wreck their hall, but it would get wrecked because there was all beer slopped on the floor and everything, and they'd have to clean it up. So I think it was like the third year, they had a contest with their architectural people. Design a hall for this kind of band and this kind of atmosphere. So they designed the hall, and it's round, and the floor sloped towards the center. And once it was over, the chairs and tables all plastic. Once they would they come in and they turn on a fire hose and they'd hit the ceiling so that the water would run down and it would all come down. And I couldn't believe it, how brilliant that was,
Something with sawdust.
They said we solved thousands of dollars in furniture, in time wasted washing down the floors and getting rid of that stink. And I said, where does it go? He said, you ever hear that song about Cayuga waters?
There's one of the reasons, huh?
Yeah.
It
I
was a
love
distinct
Cayuga
smell to
waters.
walk into a mustache in the morning after a night of beer on the floor.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I-
Well, I found that your nose kind of got immune to it while you were working. I'd
Right.
get home after work and take my clothes off, get a shower, go to bed, get up the next morning and go to school, and I'd smell my clothes. Holy shit! I was wearing those. It's like
Right.
it's like yeah.
God.
Yeah, the worst thing is you don't appreciate the amount of smoke that
Oh
was.
God.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had I stay in reasonable shape, and I never smoked in my life, but I had my arteries were all clogged up, and I had to have a quintuple bypass a couple of years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Doctors said, well, the only thing we can think of that caused it was secondhand smoke. He said it's chemically the same as any other smoke, so that's what they put down as the cause. And of course, we had 40 years of that, with our heads in the smoke, actually.
So did they put down your father's mustache as the cause?
Cause of death, your father's mustache.
Yeah.
Disney was the same way. We worked in a club where we're way above the people, and they smoked. You got this fog between you and the audience. I'll bet. Breathing all that, and they said, "Well, we put in a purifier." Yeah, right, over in the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
But,
And you really don't appreciate it until, like, the new laws banning smoking indoors, how nice the air is now. But I mean, you didn't
Yeah.
pick anything up
Yeah.
until they made those laws, and you went in and said, well, wow, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, boy, when I got home from a job, I just take all my clothes off and put them in the washing machine and then go up and take a shower.
Yeah, we saw the picture of that on the. Oh, that wasn't you. So, have you ever been to Iceland? Anybody been to Iceland? We
No.
trip there. Took a week, and it's amazing because there's no coal or oil on Iceland. It's all geothermal.
Right.
Cars are run with hydrogen fuel. So there is no pollution. The water is glacier fed, clean water, no fallout and everything. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. I mean, go to Iceland. First of all, it's a fascinating place to see, but just to experience that level of clean air and clean water is remarkable. It's like no other place on earth, I guess.
Why are their names so long?
What's that?
Why are their names so long?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Iceland, their name is like with every consonant you can stick in there, maybe 2 vowels. It's just like.
I heard Iceland's a wonderful trip.
Must be compensating for something else.
Maybe that's a sound they make up when they get up in the morning. Yeah. They're all very tall too, aren't they? Or pretty big.
Did you ever hear that thing with it was on Click and Clack, the talk show?
Abbott Brothers, yeah.
About Clinton sending vowels to Bosnia as a mercy. It's as funny as hell. If you ever get a chance to listen to that, that's worth the listen. Your eyes will water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of those guys passed away, didn't he? One of the
Tappet brothers died.
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
I think both actually now.
Yeah.
Both gone? Oh.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. They still run the shows,
Yeah.
The nice thing about tape, it's all sitting there somewhere.
Yeah, except for the ones that burnt up in the Warner Brothers fire or MGM fire, whichever one it was. All that stuff gone. Can you imagine? Probably a mustache show or two that went up in smoke, but that was probably deliberate.
Well, we didn't get to, Tom and I didn't ever get to work on the bandstand, but I can remember the band messing with the waiters more than once with the bar song and Roll Out the Barrels. They would occasionally like throw up a bar song, you're doing something, and then right immediately after that, you're getting off the bar to go and hit you with roll out the barrels or something, just make us work up a sweat. It was, yeah, it was fun.
Those damn band leaders.
Yeah. We always had a good time though. It was, the people sometimes thought we were part of the show, basically. And the waiters, they thought we're all part of the deal. And it says, no, we work for tips. Pay you a lot to work here. No, for tips, actually.
Joel used to do, not Joel, Jeff, not Jeff either. Joe Terra used to do a wonderful bit to get the tips, where he would announce he says, hey, don't forget the waitresses. And you should know that they at the end of the evening, they pull their tips together and then they send the money down to the orphanage down the street. So that was Joel's thing, or Joe's thing. What's this about Joel always wanting to be nude? Has anyone figured that out yet?
He streaked through Bill's. Remember Bill's Gay 90s, where Joe's brother Sal worked?
Yeah. Bill Dirt
Joe went streaking through there on St. Patrick's Day with a ribbon tied around himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
There he is.
Joe Terra.
Boy, he remembered everyone's name, everyone's kid's name, their birthdays, everything. He was a remarkable guy.
He was the most normal one in his family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that.
You got a good point there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you work down in Key West, Herb?
Yeah, I did. I guess maybe 5 years. I was after who was Steve? Did Steve Yoakum do it before me? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I took over from Steve when he went out to Europe or something like that, and I did it for the next few years. I had a ball.
You and Barry and Danny Rubio.
No, I wasn't with Barry. I'll tell you, our band was Cynthia, Joe, obviously, and a bass player named John O'Brien, who's a wonderful cartoonist, cartoonist for the New Yorker and Penthouse magazine, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Played bass, and John McLaren on tuba. Or John O'Brien played banjo, side banjo to Cynthia. Cynthia Sayre was on it, and John McLaren was tuba. So it's 5 of us,
Mm-hmm.
Had a wonderful time.
Yeah, I'd go down there. I only lived like a few hours from there when I was living in Central Florida. Go down and see him a couple times a year. Great. It was fun. I like Key West.
I love it. Love it too. Where are you living now, Mike?
I live in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
About halfway from nowhere.
Okay.
about 2.5 hours north of Little Rock and about 4 hours south of Kansas City.
Okay. I'll tell you, when I go to Las Vegas, I often like to drive, and I take I-40, and I-40 takes you right past Little Rock. And one of the best things to see on I-40, now don't laugh, is the Clinton Library. The Bill Clinton Presidential Library is spectacular. Don't miss it. It really is good. I mean, what else?
Okay. I've never been.
Oh, it's a history. It's a wonderful history. And some of the gifts that he got, the presidents aren't allowed to keep their gifts. So some of the gifts that he got from all over the world and everything are just amazing. And
yeah.
A couple of saxophones.
Yeah. Next time you come up I-40, give me a call. I'll meet you down there. We get together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about.
I did a trip about 5 times, and I found a little place 40 miles west of Albuquerque. The Pueblo Indians have a little village, a bunch of shacks, but there was a billboard that said "Home of the famous Laguna Burger." And I thought, well, I'm not really a hamburger eater or anything, but this sounds like something I shouldn't miss. So I pulled off the road and had the most spectacular hamburger I've ever had in my life.
Really?
And the next few times I went down, I actually aimed my trip to stop at this hamburger joint. We can't see all the museums in Albuquerque. I got to get this burger.
There you go. Yeah. Well, this is the first day it stopped raining. It's been raining for 6.5 days straight where we're at. And it's cold. Well, for here it's cold. Low 40s. And lots of rain. And it's just, sun come out today, and everybody's going, yeah, yeah, yeah.
John McLaren sent this picture today.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that in the middle in the back?
John McLaren.
John
That's
McLaren
John.
No.
That's John McClure?
said, he said he had blue jeans on, so that's him.
That's it. Okay.
Wow, I
I never saw him without a beard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never did either. That's why I didn't know it was him. And white hair.
Well, I think we all worked on that one pretty good.
Who's playing washboard?
Ira.
Ira Gutman.
Yeah.
Is it Ira? Oh, wow.
Hey, Herb, I like that blue trombone.
That's a plastic trombone that sounds amazingly good. Well, not that good, but for a plastic trombone is pretty good. So I was using it just for a visual thing, just for an effect.
Where was this?
Jim would know.
In Lebanon, New Hampshire. You remember when Joel had a, I guess it was a ski accident or something of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
And he spent some time in the hospital up there. So we went up and did a benefit for them.
Hmm.
And since you're talking about Captain Tony, he also sent, give me a second.
What about Captain Tony?
John sent this picture.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go down and see Barry, and Yoke was there. And we go out on Captain Tony's boat. It's called the Greyhound 4. The first 1, 2, and 3 had been shot out from underneath him because he was running guns.
He was running guns to Cuba.
And I had a friend who lived up in Central Florida, and he said he worked at Captain Tony's, and when everybody go home, turn the lights out, they take these cases of grenades out from underneath the bandstand and move them someplace.
Well, that's a good place to keep them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hot time in the old town tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a boat once with Greyhound 4 reminded me. I saw a boat once that had the name Reliable 3.
Reliable 3.
Yeah, now think about that. Well, whatever happened to 1 and 2,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, really.
I thought that was just a wonderful name. Unsinkable.
Reliable.
Yeah.
So did you meet Captain Tony's daughter?
Which one?
Yeah, little Tony.
Yes.
I never met her. I was there a few years ago. I was with his wife, Marty, and she was getting married. She asked us to come to the wedding, but we were
Really?
heading back. Yeah. How many daughters does he have? Half a dozen?
Only one that I knew of at the time. She was about 15 or 16. Looked like about 25.
That must have been little Tony.
Little Tony.
But we had we owned a property on Stock Island up there, a villa, and we rented it out to Tony and Marty. And but the deal we had was that every once in a while, you know, like once every 2 years, we'd like to come down and use it. Could they just leave it to us for that way? And that was the deal. We gave them a really good rate on the thing like that. And Marty always made sure the rent was paid. She was very good at that. But while we were there, Tony's message machine came on with a guy running. He said, "Hey, Tony, come on with that money and everything. You told me you would have that back to me by," and so, and I'm hearing all this thing about his bad debt. And not 1 week later, Tony says, "Hey, Herb, could I come and speak to you?" And I said, yeah. So we're in the living room, and he says, "I got a situation. My daughter, Tony, she got no fault of her own. She got put in jail and everything. I need to bail her out, and I need to know if I can borrow $200. It would just be for the day, just to get her out. Then she has her hearing the next day, and everything else. So he's hit me up for money after I hear this message. So I had to say, Tony, if I give you that $200, it doesn't come back. I have to take my family back home because we can't stay for the rest of the vacation. We won't have any money left. I can't give it to you. But he was an addicted gambler, badly, and using people to feed his gambling habit. That's what it was. It was him.
Joe was like that too. Joe was a big gambler.
Yeah. Joe never hit you up.
Well, we had this deal. We used to play on a Friday night or Saturday night. If I was working the sidebar, Russ would come out and he'd start flipping a $50, and he said heads or tails, $5 heads or tails. Well, by the time the night was over, I was in or out a lot of money. So whatever it was, then we had to go into the kitchen now. Now everyone's gone. We're going to play cards. So Joe would come in and a couple other guys would come in and we'd play cards. And you usually play to about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And she wasn't my wife yet. She would just get pissed. But we stay and we play, and after a while, sometimes I'd win, sometimes I'd lose. And so what would happen if I lost and I wanted to play again, I'd borrow $20 from you, Joe, or whatever. And then I'd play. And then if I won all my money back, Russ would get pissed. So we made this deal. If you owe money, you can't play again until you pay that money back. So I said, okay, fine. But at this particular point in time, I had gotten over my gambling bug. But I said, all right. And then I thought a second, but wait a second. There's got to be a way I can make money out of this. So Joe and them are playing, and I'm just watching. And Joe loses, and he owes money. So the next morning, I get to Joe, and I say, hey, Joe, how much do you owe? He said, I owe him $20. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll pay him. I'll give him $20, but you got to give me 25 back. And Joe says, okay. So I would pay off the loan. So Joe would be able to go gamble again. And so every day I was making $5, $10, $15 from whoever was playing. And I never gambled. I didn't have to. It was always a sure thing. It was never a gamble. And after a while, Russ catches on that I'm doing all this stuff. So now the new rule is you can't borrow any money from John.
Then you left there and started the title business, title loan companies, didn't you?
Oh, it was a great deal. And Joe and the only one I couldn't tell was Russ. So I was loaning money to everybody. And they had to pay me within 5 days. That was the deal. 5 days.
Hey guys, I gotta check out.
Yeah.
So I'll see you all next week.
Okay.
Next week, guys.
Take care,
guys.
We'll see you.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.